We are live to discuss your questions. If you've been having a difficult time on keto and fasting and carnivore, health and fat loss, this is the video for you. I'm going to be answering your questions here. And my name is Ben. It's so awesome to meet you. I am the best-selling author of 4 books, including my latest book called Keto Flex. And I'm the founder of Keto Camp. And I'm excited to chat with you today. Let me know in the chat box where you're tuning in from. And also let me know what your questions are. So I see some questions rolling on here. Let me answer a few here on Instagram. Miguel, hey, good to see you, Miguel. And Caracas, Venezuela in the house. What's up? Belgium in the house. I love to see this reach the world. Question is from Miguel. Will the 2222 rule break my fast? The answer is yes, because you're going to have to digest those fats. And if you're not familiar with the 2222 rule, let me explain that to those on here. The 222 rule is a tip that we give for beginners. And Miguel, I know you're not a beginner, so you probably don't need to do the 222 rule anymore, but it incorporates certain fats to teach your body to burn fat instead of sugar as you're lowering your carbohydrates. Now, those fats will not really stimulate a glucose and insulin response, but they will start the digestive process. So to me, it does break a fast. Your second question was about the Keto Camp cocktail, which includes water, apple cider vinegar, some sea salt, cream of tartar. That really doesn't break a fast. It'll support the fast by giving you some really important electrolytes. So you're good to go with that one. Question here from Vida's Fragrant Diary. Hey, Ben, what is the best way to heal gastritis? I was recently diagnosed with this condition. Yeah, there's a few things you can do. I would look into some of the foods you might be eating that is creating intestinal permeability, creating some issues with your digestive system. So that would be these plant toxins, primarily oxalates. I would look into reducing your oxalic acid load. The foods that have the high amounts of oxalic acid and oxalates are going to be things like spinach, kale, almonds. I would avoid those. I would also avoid dairy, pasteurized dairy. I would avoid that. I would avoid gluten and grains, corn and soy, where are typically GMO, and maybe do some variation of carnivore. Now, fasting is great for the gut in general, which could help with gastritis and other conditions. Fasting, what it does, it helps reset. It's nature's reset button. So what fasting does for the digestive system is profound. Number one, it stresses the gut to create more biodiversity, meaning more a diverse microbiome, which is the name of the game. We want diversity, is king, queen, and everything in between. And fasting could help with that. But fasting also just gives your digestive system some time to repair and to recover. And let's face it, most people are not fasting, they're grazing, they're eating throughout the day, and it overwhelms the digestive system. Those are some simple tips. You might have to go upstream to explore things like heavy metal toxicity, environmental toxins, and pollutants. And that would be where you would work with your practitioner on that. David, good to see you. Raw, good to meet you on LinkedIn. I see Billy Terry says, my blood sugar is dropping to 70 early in the day. What can I do so I don't break my fast? 70 is a great blood sugar in a fasted state, Terry. In general, 70 to 90 milligrams per deciliters is what we're aiming for. So good job with that. Now, what can you do to break your fast? What can I do so that I don't break my fast? Got it. You have water, you have sea salt, coffee, tea. Those should not break a fast. For some people, coffee does. So you might want to test glucose before and 45 minutes after, but typically that's safe. So water, coffee, tea, electrolytes, minerals are okay in a fasted state. Apple cider vinegar, that's fine for a fasted state. David, good to see you, brother. Abdesalam, good to see you. And LinkedIn in the house. David Spears from the UK. David Spears, I know intermittent fasting and keto are non-inflammatory, is a non-inflammatory diet, but do you think it would be good for diverticulitis as my friend has it? I think more of a carnivore approach. Now, fasting for sure could help with that, but I think more of a carnivore approach combined with intermittent fasting could be the key there. Carnivore is a great elimination diet. It's essentially you're removing all these plant toxins, the oxalates we just spoke about, the lectins, the phytates. So a carnivore approach with intermittent fasting Also, we always wanna make sure we go upstream and make sure, there's no environmental toxins and pollutants that are creating some problems as well, especially mercury in the brain, dumps in the gut. So, David, carnivore and intermittent fasting would be what I would explore personally. David Morrow, what's up, brother? So, David says, "What's the upper limit for fasting volume in a month for a 40-year-old woman? How many days, hours is too much?" That one's a tough one to answer in a live stream. I would say this, one of the things I teach my Keto Camp Academy students is to look at their heart rate variability as a good gauge to see if they're fasting too much or if they could up the fasting muscle and flex that fasting muscle a little bit more and do longer, more aggressive fasting, more consistent fasting. Heart rate variability is one of my favorite things to track. If you've been following my work, I talk about it a lot. It's essentially giving you an idea on how healthy, how adaptive is your autonomic nervous system. You have the sympathetic branch, which is fight or flight, adrenaline, cortisol, etc. And then you have the parasympathetic, which is rest, digest, recover, detoxify. And with heart rate variability, as we see it trend up, that is what we're looking for. If we see it trend up, we could be more aggressive with fasting. If we see it trend down, we want to limit the fasting. So that's a good gauge. Now, an 8.6 for most people, even 40-year-old women can work really well. I don't know if the person you're referring to has a monthly menstrual cycle, but we wanna put that into consideration because the week before the bleed, period is a week where we don't wanna do too much fasting or keto. That's to consider as well. But an 18-6 is a good daily schedule for most people. 18 hours fasted, 6 hours eating. So that's gonna be good. Now, some people can get away with a 24-hour fast once a week. Some people can ramp that up to a 36-hour fast here and there. Heart rate variability would be a good gauge for that. I use the Aura ring. You can see the ring here on my finger to track heart rate variability, OURA ring.com. There's also other devices like the Hanu Health device. There is Apple Watch. There's a Whoop band. There's some Garmin. I do recommend tracking that. And I get to see you. Carnivore is the next phase for you in the academy. I'm excited for you. You're gonna notice some amazing results. Okay, let's see. There's some questions here on TikTok. What do you suggest for rheumatoid arthritis autoimmune? Carnivore. Carnivore is terrific for autoimmune conditions, what we teach our academy students. I personally have autoimmune Raynaud's and erythromyalgia, and I could tell you that a lot of the things I do have helped tremendously with my Raynaud's and autoimmune, but carnivore seems to move the dial a lot. So 30, 60, 90 days of a carnivore diet, you're gonna notice a lot of changes in the positive direction there. And then always, always, always go upstream with autoimmune conditions. There's a three-legged stool that I talk about that triggers autoimmune conditions. You have your DNA, so you are susceptible to that condition from the DNA you have. Then you have stressors and the gut microbiome that influence the DNA. So when we think about stressors, there are three different areas of stressors. There's mental emotional stress, physical stress, and then there's chemical stress. So you wanna explore all. And the gut microbiome is changed with carnivore fasting, etcetera. So carnivore would be great for autoimmune conditions. Let's see, YouTube questions are rolling in. Oh, there's a lot of questions here. Hey, Nancy, West Virginia, Melissa, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Jay in Sacramento. Jay says diet soda. Does diet soda or zero sugar break a fast? The only way to know for sure is to check glucose before and 45 minutes after. But I will say this, Jay, diet soda contains artificial sweeteners in it, like sucralose or aspartame, and those could be problematic. I would switch over to like a Zevia, which is a stevia-flavored carbonated drink. That would be better. And then your next question was about nitric oxide. This is perfect because yesterday, in this room right here at Keto Camp HQ, sitting next to me was the GOAT of nitric oxide research, the greatest of all time, the GOAT. This guy has done the most research. His name is Dr. Nathan Ryan, and this is his book here. And I just interviewed him yesterday, and we did a master class on nitric oxide, the Keto Camp podcast. So that'll be out on the Keto Camp podcast and the Keto Camp YouTube channel soon. But some of the things that I've learned from Nathan through his incredible research is First of all, you wanna instead of adding in supplements for nitric oxide, let's remove the things that deplete nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a gas your body produces. It's very important for many processes inside of your body for health, longevity, fat loss, insulin resistance, diabetes, to prevent heart disease, etcetera, for vasodilation, blood flow, for the immune system, and we can go on and on and on about the role of nitric oxide. There are 3 things that will deplete nitric oxide, okay? Everybody write these down, make sure you're not doing any of these 3. The first thing that depletes nitric oxide is going to be mouthwash, antiseptic mouthwash. Why? Because antiseptic mouthwash kills what does it say on the bottom? 99.9% of bacteria. Yeah, they're right. Good and bad bacteria, and there's certain good bacteria in your oral microbiome that help to convert food you eat, like green leafy vegetables, into nitric oxide, and when you kill it, you don't convert it, and it depletes your nitric oxide levels, which actually could raise the risk of heart disease, possibly create erectile dysfunction, and even other conditions out there. So we don't wanna use antiseptic mouthwash, number 1. Number 2 is antacids. These are gonna be Prevacid, even things like Tums, but antacids, anything that blocks stomach acid will also do the same thing because there's also bacteria in your gut that helps you convert and produce nitric oxide, and you wipe that out, fantastic. We wanna avoid that. The 3rd thing is a little bit more complicated, those are gonna be statins. You wanna work with your doctor on that. I'm not telling you to get off any medications right now, but statins lower cholesterol, which is the goal. And that's not good. He gave a master class, Dr. Nathan Bryan gave a master class on why that is not good because there are cholesterol is responsible as well for allowing nitric oxide to do its job, essentially, to keep it simple for you. So low cholesterol is not good. So those are the 3 things. Now in terms of supplements, that was the question. Dr. Nathan Bryan has an incredible product. I have them in my kitchen, but we used them and talked about it in the interview. That's gonna be a product called NO2U. That it's a lozenge that you use in the morning and at evening, and it's a great nitric oxide supplement. Most of the supplements out there for nitric oxide are bogus. They don't do what they say they're gonna do, and they are just taking your money. But this product, we've tested it. He's tested it. He has videos with machines testing it. I use it. If you go to NO what what's the website? The website is NO1 NO2U.com. No2u.com. So the number 2. No, the number 2, the letter U.com, No2U, like nitric oxide 2U. You can see that product. We have a coupon code with them, which is, Keto Camp to get a certain discount. Massachusetts, hello. Spinach when cooked is a little bit better, but still not ideal. Nancy says, I'm hearing about adding a teaspoon of cinnamon to water. Will that break a fast? Does it help with weight loss? Cinnamon could be great. I wouldn't do it in a fasted state 'cause potentially it could break a fast. So I would do cinnamon for a meal to help with the glucose response from the meal. Does fasting help to fight COVID? It's hard to say. Whenever I'm sick or whenever my students are sick, I tell them, listen to the innate intelligence. If I'm not hungry, I don't eat. I fast. If I get an appetite, I eat when I'm sick. There is some research showing that a 72-hour fast can, regenerate your immune system, so there's some science there, but I don't know. I always just say listen to the innate intelligence. If you're hungry, eat. If you're not, fast. I hope you feel better, recover from it. And now I don't know if you are currently fighting an active COVID infection or if it's a long hauler situation. So there's different areas to follow depending on which is which. Next question is from Pink Princess in Sweden. I wonder what your view on vegan keto is, and if I would need to keep both an intermittent fasting and ketogenic diet to heal a bipolar condition. Well, in terms of the mental health condition, the bipolar condition, that's something that I can't really give you advice on. Work with a practitioner. Go look up my interview with Dr. Chris Palmer, who's a Harvard-trained psychiatrist, and he talks a lot about keto, sustainable keto, long-term keto for those conditions. Now, in terms of a vegan keto approach, short term, I'm all for it. What does that mean? 30 to 60 days. Longer than that, it is not sustainable. You restrict the body of really important fats and proteins, especially animal-based protein is much better than plant-based protein. So short term, fine. Long term, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't know how to lose 32 pounds in a week. Well, me neither, and that would be a bad idea. It might be physically impossible unless you get some sort of surgery, but it's not gonna be healthy. What do you suggest for new type 2 diabetics? If you're diabetic, or if you're not, look, most people have no idea they're diabetic, and there's insulin resistance that takes place for 10 to 15 years before you're diagnosed. But keto has been proven with a lot of science to reverse type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance, along with fasting. And this Friday, August 25th, I'm going to be hosting a live training all about keto. And we'll talk about diabetes. We'll talk about insulin resistance. This training is free. There's some spots available if you want to join over at ketosismasterclass.com. If you're watching on TikTok or Instagram, you could just click the link in my bio. If you're watching on other channels, you could go to ketosismasterclass.com right there. Um, but there's science to keto. That is undeniable. The science is incredible, and there's new research coming out every single month. Science is compelling, it's clear, it's amazing. But then there's an art to keto. This is where a lot of people doing keto, they miss the art of it because you need to customize keto for you, and that's where the art comes into play. My goal is to make you the artist of your health. And on Friday, during this free training over at ketosismasterclass.com, I'm going to teach you the science and the art and how to customize it by giving you 4 keto secrets for long-term success. So join me on there. We're going to be talking about that on Friday for Jerome. Anybody else, you are welcome to join me on Friday. It's not just for diabetics, so I'd love to see you on there. Next question is from Nancy. I'm looking into the carnivore diet for 30 days. What macros should I try for fat loss? I still have 95 pounds to lose. I've lost 97 thanks to you. That's amazing, Nancy. Yeah, the macros, it's really the protein you wanna focus on for carnivore, and you wanna get about 1 gram of protein per pound of your ideal body weight. So whatever your weight is right now, minus those 95 pounds you wanna lose, consume that in protein each day for carnivore. You're not gonna get any carbs on carnivore, and, for fat, just needed to track it, just get the fat that naturally comes with the protein. In my Keto Camp Academy, I have an entire carnivore pillar to teach this, by the way. Angel, good morning. Is it possible to start keto, pairing it with intermittent fasting and cut out all sweets and carbs? I'm a former bariatric surgery patient. I had the bariatric sleeve surgery on December 2020. Fasting is a little bit more challenging with a bariatric sleeve, because you kinda wanna spread out those, fats and meals and calories to break it down efficiently because your stomach essentially has shrunk. You can do that approach. I don't recommend changing too many things all at once because it might be very difficult to sustain. I would recommend getting into ketosis first and then pairing it with a fasting schedule you feel comfortable with. Maybe that's a 16-8 for you, 18 hours, 16 hours fasted, 8 hours eating. In those 8 hours, you spread out those meals to make it digestible for your certain situation, your specific situation. Next question from Jenny. Hello from northern Minnesota. I have been keto for 5 months now, and I just did a 48-hour water fast. I have the keto mojo, so I tested at 48 hours. I was at 5.0 ketones, glucose 48. Is that good or bad? We've seen that with longer fast. The question I always ask my students when they have high ketones and low glucose is, "How do you feel?" And personally, when I did a longer fast, I had high ketones, low glucose, but I felt fine, so I kept it going because I knew my body was running on ketones. So it's really gonna come down to how you feel. Thank you, Elena, for your help. Can I have prebiotics when I'm hungry to extend my fast? I would recommend instead of prebiotics to have fats. So that could be coconut oil, olive oil, a fat bomb. That would be better to extend a fast. All right, Melissa, I see your question here. Melissa Tover. Just finished an 8.5 day water fast. I broke it when blood sugar dropped to 53, back to intermittent fasting. Ooh, I lost it. Usually fast 18 to 48 hours, having one meal. Why are ketones dropping? Ketones are gonna fluctuate for many, many reasons. So I don't know why. It could be from the sleep, it could be from the stress. I mean, kudos to you for your dedication. Just always keep in mind, fasting is great, but we don't too much fasting, so make sure you're balancing out with feasting and getting enough protein. But with the ketone fluctuation, hormones could play a role, sleep, lack of sleep, stress, etcetera. So explore sleep and stress. I would start there. Angel in San Francisco, California is a possible. Okay, I already answered that question. Sorry, Angel. I don't understand how much protein is okay. I eat 100 grams and I'm knocked out of ketosis. Well, if you're gonna eat 100 grams, you wanna spread that out. If you have it in one meal, it'll create enough glucose to bump you out of ketosis. So split that up between maybe 2 or 3 meals, and it won't knock you out of it should not, knock you out of ketosis. JC says, "I have been doing keto since June 1st, and I've lost 40 pounds." Let's go, JC. Congratulations. I have done a 5-day and 7-day water fast, and I felt great when I do it. How many times should I wait until I do another long fast? Well, congrats, JC, that's awesome. I recommend a long fast like that every quarter or so, 90 days. So that would be a good rule of thumb. What are my thoughts on exogenous ketones? Keto guy. What's up, keto guy? I think there's a time and place for them. I wouldn't use them without doing the work. I'd rather teach the body to produce ketones endogenously versus exogenously, but I use them. Sometimes I use them before a live stream like this or an interview or when I speak on stage as a brain hack, brain performance boost. I use them sometimes when I travel. I use them to prime the pump for somebody who's having a hard time getting into ketosis. So there's a time and place for the right exogenous ketones, but you don't do them and replace doing the work. You do the work and use them to supplement doing the work. Good afternoon. You Russell. Perimenopause and gaining. Have not started HRT yet. Any suggestions? Yeah, I have a lot of content on perimenopause. I would recommend you watch or listen to my recent interview with Andrea Donsky all about this. It's on YouTube. Just type in Andrea Donsky Keto Camp, and we did a 60-minute masterclass on perimenopause. It'll help you out a lot. Thank you for your information. I have lost 250 pounds, says Melissa. I have 75 pounds more to go. Let's go. That's amazing. You got this. Layla, do you have any resources for keto Persian food? Well, Layla, I sure do because I am Persian. My parents are from Iran and my entire extended family live in Iran. So I know all about Persian food. Bob, kibi, Jun, which is my favorite. Not really keto friendly, the pomegranate sauce. But hey, meat and protein and fat. So kebab, chicken kebab, beef kebab. If you're gonna do Jun, less pomegranate sauce would be fine because it's chicken and walnuts. So just meat and protein is the name of the game there. Heather, I'm 53 and I am in menopause. I have been doing low carb slash metabolic flexing since 2013. Good job. I lost all my baby weight since 2020. When perimenopause began, I had put on 30 pounds. Super frustrating. Yeah, I mean, join my webinar, my training on Friday, Heather. ketosismasterclass.com. We'll identify some things that you might not be doing. But, I applaud your commitment. That is awesome. I love that you started this back in 2013. That's when I kind of got into keto as well. So kudos to you. You were an early adopter, but join me on Friday. I'll teach you some things during the masterclass that could help you out. You might want to also watch my video with Andrea Donsky on perimenopause and menopause as well. You got it, Melissa. You got it. Well, doing keto, when should you take fiber? You could get some natural fiber sources from keto. Those are going to be artichokes, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, coconut meat. So those are going to be some keto sources. You just have it with your meals if that's your goal. I wouldn't take berberine during a fasting window. I would take it before a meal. I think it's better that way. Thank you, Farah. You love the podcast. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you're not subscribed to the Keto Camp podcast, go subscribe to it. We have a lot of cool episodes coming out and already 600 plus episodes that have already been released. We are deep into the game. So it's Keto Camp podcast, Camp with the K. You can see it behind me on all podcast platforms worldwide and on YouTube, the video interviews. Gallbladder stones. Yeah. Um, I remember interviewing Dr. Anthony J about gallbladder stones, and he was talking about sunshine, getting your vitamin D levels helps to break down some of the gallstones. Also, support the liver and gallbladder with coffee enemas, something called a PC push. There's certain supplements you could take, like ox bile, gallbladder flushes. You just want to support it. Avoid high carbohydrates and limit your fat beginning and slowly ramp it up. Good to catch you here, Bia, as well. Oh, I missed it. Cerebella. What was your question? Let's see. There's a lot going on here, so sometimes I miss it. Okay, got it. I was on keto for a year, lost 87 pounds, and then had multiple losses in my family, and I could not seem to lose weight ever since. Been doing 5 months now, and I'm not doing anything different. Please help. I'm sorry to hear about the losses in your family. That sounds like a mental stress, cortisol weight gain or weight loss resistance happening. Number 1, join me on Friday. I'll teach you about keto. We're not gonna talk too much about mindset, but it sounds like it's more of a mindset thing. I would refer you to Dr. John Demartini. He has a lot of great, incredible work on how to view those losses as a different with a different perspective and recalibrate your nervous system. So go check out Dr. John Demartini. I've interviewed him a couple times as well. And then join me Friday on the training, and I'll be happy to teach you some of the keto things that we do to break these weight loss stalls that work really, really well. So I hope to see you on Friday. It's ketosismasterclass.com. It's a free training. It's going to be an hour long. Sandy, I am 167 pounds, 5'6", 53-year-old. Just returned to lifting weights, hoping to maintain and build muscle mass. What dietary suggestions do you have for me that would help me build muscle and stay keto? Yeah, good question. Lost 70 pounds too. Good job, Sandy. Awesome. Keep your protein up. Get enough protein. So 1 gram of protein per pound of your ideal body weight from animal-based proteins. I would also recommend supplementing with creatine, 5 grams per day for women, about 10 grams a day for men, and taking some perfect aminos as well. Perfect aminos would be a great product to get those essential aminos. They're 99% absorbable versus higher than any food out there. Get enough sleep so you're recovering from those workouts, and you'll do what you wanna do. We do have in our Keto Camp Academy a muscle building program for women at 50 and above. So if you wanna join our program, we can teach you how to do that. We have great coaches that teach that as well in our community. Triple J, love you, champion. Hope you're doing well and recovering, bro. Thinking about you and praying. You are the champion. We missed you at Keto Orlando Summit. It was not the same walking on stage without you giving me that belt. But next year, I'll be back at Keto Orlando Summit. You'll be there as well, and we'll make it happen, bro. Christopher, good to see you, my friend. I see Veronica in Pennsylvania. I had 2 cups of green tea, 2 cups of coffee, 2 liters of water. My CGM alarm sounds off at 69. My sugar goes down sharply after that. My 18-hour fast is in until 3. Yeah, I would look at the ketones too, because sometimes that CGM alarm will go off because the glucose drops, but where are your ketones and how do you feel? Really, those are 2 things to consider. For sure, Alina. For sure it is. I am 56 years old, says Veronica, menopause, type 2 diabetic, no medicine, chose to do the dietary change with intermittent fasting, smart. Haven't lost pounds, but I did lose inches. My blood sugars were mid 200s to 300s. Now it's between 96 and 150. Awesome direction you're going into. What can I do to drop the pounds? Join me on Friday. There's some things you can do. Build muscle mass, get quality sleep. There are certain supplements like berberine and bitter melon extract to help process glucose better. Keep up with your different fasting strategies, longer fast, pull some fat from the liver. Join me on Friday, and I'll teach you some secrets to how we do it with keto. But you're going in the right direction. Congratulations. Awesome. You're definitely trending in the right direction. There's also red light therapy on your pancreas that could help. Um, Environmental toxins are always something to consider. Some studies suggest that at least 33% of all diabetes is toxicity related, and some studies show it's higher to 80% plus. I'm actually recovering quite well because keto continued my blood sugar. Let's bet on that, my friend. Keep healing, my friend. How many of you know, how if you follow me on Instagram, I did some stories yesterday or 2 days ago about Big Pharma. We have a lot of resistance with Big Pharma. They are creating a lot of problems. I'm gonna ask you a question. I'll let you answer me in the chat box. Cable TV. I don't watch cable TV. My mom does. Every Thursday, I have dinner with my mom. I go to her apartment with my fiancé, and we have dinner. She has a TV on. She loves her Hallmark channel. She watches TV, and there's commercials, of course, and it's always medication, big pharma on those damn TV commercials. What do you think? And I looked this up, and I want you to guess, and I'll give you the answer. But what do you think out of all the TV commercials on TV in the United States, what percentage of those commercials are from Big Pharma, funded by Big Pharma? What percentage? Let me know in the chat box. Out of all the commercials on TV in the United States, what percentage of them are funded by Big Pharma? What do you think it is? I see 60 to 80% here, Dexter. I see 75% Triple J, 71% Sally, 60%, 80%. Nancy, I'm looking forward to seeing you Friday too. 50% says Ed, 95% says Melissa, 95%, 20%. Okay, so here's the answer. 75% of all of the TV commercials on TV in America is funded by Big Pharma. 75%. All right, next question. Out of the 195 countries in the world, how many countries allow Big Pharma to advertise directly to the consumer on TV? How many countries allow this? Out of the 195 countries, how many countries allow for Big Pharma to advertise on TV directly to the consumer? How many? How many do you think? Heidi says 1. Dexter says 1 to 5. Veronica says 1. Sally says 2. Sally, you're smart. So the answer is 2. The answer is 2. Zipporah, you're right. 2 countries. Only 2 countries. The United States and New Zealand are the only 2 countries in the world out of 195 countries that allow for Big Pharma to advertise directly to the consumers. So that's 75% of commercials. Then I wanted to look up, all right, what about fast food? Because when I'm at my mom's place and the TV's on, there's also McDonald's commercials, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, whatever. other fast food restaurants that are out there advertising on TV. What percentage of TV commercials in America advertise fast food commercials? We already covered 75%, so it has to be 25% or less. So what do you think that percentage is? We already established 75% comes from big pharma. What percentage comes from fast food restaurants? Dexter says 15%, Ferris says 20%, Ed says 12%, Heidi says 10%, Nancy says 25%. So it's about 11% plus. Some say 11 to 25, 26%, but at least 11% comes from fast food restaurants. That means you have 75% from big pharma, 11% at least from fast food restaurants. That means 86% plus of all TV commercials is either big pharma or a fast food restaurant. And you wonder why we're such a sick nation of unhealthy people. It is awful. You wonder why 88% plus of American adults are metabolically unhealthy. Protect your environment. When you watch those commercials, what happens at the end of the big pharma medication commercial? Uh, Viagra, high blood pressure, MS. They list and they have to list all of the side effects that might occur that they saw during their clinical trials. This medication might include bleeding from your anus, an erection that lasts more than 4 hours. It might induce death automatically. It might induce a migraine. It might cause a rat to climb out of your butthole. It's like, who would want to do these medications after hearing all those side effects? It is wild. But guess what? What we know is that there is no medication, there's no surgery, there's no shot, there's no pill, there is no supplement, there's no chiropractor or functional medicine doctor or health coach that can replace the healing capabilities of this incredible human body. Your body has an innate intelligence, and it's the world's greatest physician. It's not about adding things in, it's about removing the interference so your innate intelligence could go to work. Your symptoms are a good thing. Your symptoms are a gift from your innate intelligence. Your symptoms are your body's check engine light. Thank God we have that. We don't just put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound because that'll bleed through the Band-Aid. The medications will bleed through, and you need another Band-Aid, another medication. I hope you understand that. Your body is incredible. You are a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master, and don't let anybody tell you different. I know that this is against the mainstream message, but it's the damn truth. And if you wanna learn more about how to use ketosis to tap into the innate intelligence and how to tie in the science of keto with the art, join me this Friday for my free training all about this over at ketosismasterclass.com. Ketosismasterclass.com. I'm gonna get to a few more questions here, and then we're gonna wrap things up. Sandy says, "What is an acceptable postprandial glucose? I have a CGM, and every time I get a score lower than 10, I feel like I was too much." You mean higher than 10? I feel like it was too much of something. So, 1 hour after eating, your blood sugars, blood sh postprandial glucose should be 120 grams per deciliters or less. 2 hours after eating, it should go back to where it was before you started eating. That would be a good general rule of thumb. Dory, good to see ya. Dory's fun. Just try to watch TV without seeing fast food or RX commercials. You can't. It's true. Can't get away from it. Or just don't watch TV. That's the only reason cable TV exists. 'Cause of big pharma, all the funding they get. If it wasn't for that, there would be no cable TV. Everything would be streamed. You can get a CGM through your doctor, through insurance, or you can get it through a company like NutriSense. We work with them. They write the prescription for you, and they're terrific. If you go to nutrisense.io/ketocamp, you can learn more about that. and we have a coupon code, which is Ben30 for $30 off some of their plans. At one point, Melissa says, I was on 100 pills of medication and supplements every day, now less than 5. Damn, that's amazing, Melissa. Congratulations. Yeah, big pharma is not our friend. But I am. I hope you look at me as your friend. My name is Ben, and I'm your friend. I hope this was helpful. I know last week I was not live with you because I had some things going on, but I typically go live with you every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. So join me next Wednesday. But hey, in the meantime, go get signed up, register for the free training taking place on Friday over at ketosismasterclass.com, and subscribe to the Keto Camp podcast, the Keto Camp YouTube channel. Follow me on the social media. I missed your question. Bring it to me next Wednesday. I love and appreciate you all. I have a lot of vitamin G gratitude in my heart for you all for joining me and spending part of your day with me. If you want to watch the replay of this live stream, if you missed any of it, that's on my YouTube channel, which is Keto Camp on YouTube. Have a blessed day. Love you all, and see you soon.